How many people here would like to know how I can prove scientifically that every single person on this planet was born a winner? Who wants to know scientifically?
All right.
100 million sperm, 1 egg, and out you popped? What's the chances of that? What's the odds of that? Think about it. So I just proved you were born a winner. Then this thing called life happened. Maybe you forgot that you're a winner. Maybe you didn't know that you're a winner. Maybe somebody actually talked you into believing that you're not a winner. A little bit of my story. I was born into a family, challenged family, no money, not enough food, physical, mental abuse. It wasn't day camp, let me tell you, but it was great. And over time, I started to learn that if I was going to get anywhere in this world, that I would just have to know that based on what was going against me, that I wasn't supposed to win, except I learned that I'm always supposed to win. A number of years ago, my bride Linda and I went to hear a speaker. Do yourself a favor. Take a long drive, take the time, and go hear a professional speaker or speakers. The winner for me was Les Brown. How many people here have heard of Les Brown? If you haven't heard of Les Brown, look him up. He's fabulous. And Les Brown one night said to me, and 10,000 other people in the audience, Neil, don't ever let anyone else's opinion of you become your reality. Ladies and gentlemen, never let anyone else's opinion of you become your reality. And I started to grow. Well, by the age of 14, I was actually running a daycare center, an afternoon and evening daycare center. My parents presented me with 4 siblings. And they were hardworking people, out day and night. So my job was to clean at night, cook for everyone, provide study sessions for them. And if I had a chance, I could do my homework too. And time went on. Before I knew it, I was suddenly in grade 1. I made it to grade 1. Grade 1. Harold Wagner School, right on Bridgeport Road, 15 minutes from here. Now I believe that it is a French school. Every morning at 10 o'clock, I would hear my teacher say to me in front of the whole class, Neil SIlvert, it's 10 o'clock. It's time to go to the class for dummies. Neil, it's time to go to the class for dummies. I had a remedial reading problem, and her way of telling me to move to the next classroom was to have me join the class of dummies. Well, ladies and gentlemen, when your teacher says that to you every single day that you're in school, you start to believe that you're a dummy. And I did. By the way, you wouldn't do that now, but that happened. Well, eventually I got to high school. Now, did you ever hear the old saying, fail your way to success? Yes. I failed my way to success in high school. Every bloody course I failed. And eventually I got to grade 12. And as I got my diploma, Grand River Collegiate in Kitchener, the principal, who's a great guy, said to me, SIlvert, take your piece of paper here and get out, because we don't know how else to get you out of this school. That's a true story. Well, I went back the next year, because in those days they had grade 13, and I really wasn't sure what to do with myself. But lo and behold, during the year, that year in 13, I was indeed accepted into college in Toronto, and I enrolled. You know, you may not know this, but you need to have money when you go to school. It's a weird thing. And by the 3rd month in college, I had to make a decision. Keep going to school and give up eating and become homeless, or give up and come home. So I did. I didn't know that I wasn't supposed to win, however, so I just kept going. I found myself in the early 70s in the nuts and bolts business. Now let me tell you, In the 60s, yes, I was around in the early 60s, and I had a dream. That dream was to walk on the moon. And I was told that I was stupid. I remember people telling me that it was ridiculous to have a dream to walk on the moon, because in the early 1960s, it wasn't thought of. But in 1969, anybody on the planet who had a television or who had a radio was glued to their set watching a man jump onto the moon, that first man. What was his name? Neil. I'm Neil! And part of my dream was answered, and I believed it. In the 70s, I ended up in the nuts and bolts and screw business. Things that hold things together and make things. And during that time, I rose through the ranks, and I started being a manager, and I ended up running factories. And one day I was called to a meeting where I was introduced to a gentleman from Spar Aerospace. How many people here remember Spar Aerospace? And I was told, remember my dream, ladies and gentlemen, that I was to create, build, and manufacture with my team the fasteners for the very first Canada Space Arm. And in fact, we did. Ladies and gentlemen, I touched my dream of having something to do with space exploration. And you can have your dreams too. From there, after a number of years, I became interested in giving back. Someone helped our family, someone helped me, probably the Lord, but I got somewhere. So I decided to go into charitable work, fundraising, professional fundraising, community work. Lo and behold, there was a course that I discovered called the Practicum. And it was from across Canada. They were going to take 5 people to learn this type of work. Well, the challenge for me was that one only needed an M degree to apply for one of their positions, an MBA or an MSW. I had grade 12, but once again, I did not know that I wasn't supposed to win. So I applied, and I interviewed. And in 1983, I became one of the 5 people chosen from across Canada. And let me tell you, we did some amazing things. I could go to a guy, ask him for $1 million for charity, and offer him a receipt and a thank you. And we learned how to do that. How many people can do that? Every single one of you, if you care about what you care about. And you can learn. I do it as a volunteer now. But what we were really raising money for, and what people from the outside didn't know, is that we were raising money for rescue operations. We were rescuing people who were going to be murdered, executed. People had no food, no homes. And we were quietly rescuing them and bringing them to safety. That is actually what we were doing. And I took part in that. And in the early 90s, I was approached by a family in Hamilton. I was running an agency in Hamilton. And they came to me and said that their 4 members and their family were going to be murdered by a terrorist group. And could we help? We didn't have computers. We didn't have cell phones. We had a fax. We had letter writing. Remember that? You write stuff on paper. And ladies and gentlemen, we saved them. We got them out on a Red Cross caravan. And I was privileged to meet them 30 days later in Hamilton, where we had dinner. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't know what your actions will do to help people. You don't know whose dream you are helping to fulfill by having your own dreams and goals. Ladies and gentlemen, you can do whatever it is that you want to do just by dreaming big, being focused on it, and going for it. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, from the kid who was a dummy in grade 1, if your dream is big enough, if the dream is big enough, the facts don't count. Thank you.